Dear viewers, this was the last topic that I thought I would have to do, but with great sadness, I must announce the sad passing of the beloved, legendary, and irreplaceable Cocoa Tea. He was simply one of the greatest voices to ever emerge from Jamaica, and the leading light of the second generation of dancehall and reggae artists, and one who gave us countless classics for 5 decades. Cocoa Tea emerged from a crew that boasted of titans like Yellowman, Barrington Levy, and Ika Mouse, but became the most consistent and would carve out his own massive niche and won over millions of hearts as one of the sweetest voice singers in the history of the genre. It's a sad day, but let's take a look at the life and times of the great Cocoa Tea. Cocoa Tea was born Calvin Scott on September 3rd, 1959 in Rocky Point, a small fishing village in Jamaica's Clarendon parish. Like many musicians, he got introduced to music in the church and started singing in the choir. His amazing talent also got him a spot in the school choir, and singing quickly became part of him. Jamaica in those days was overflowing with talented youth, many of whom never got discovered or even the opportunity to record a song. But young Calvin, by accident of fate, got discovered in the most unexpected way at the age of 14. In 1973, the most popular and hottest musical act out of Rocky Point was a group called the Rockydonians. Their exploits had reached the ears of Kingston-based singer and producer Willie Francis, who took a trip down to Rocky Point to see for himself how good the guys really were and to hopefully take them back to record some music in Kingston. Incidentally, one of the Rockydonians was Cocoa Tea's brother-in-law, and being an aspiring singer, he used to hang out with them all the time after school. It was during that period that Willie Francis heard young Calvin singing. Francis ended up taking him back to Kingston along with the Rockydonians, but ended up recording only Calvin on a song called Searching in the Hills. The song got decent airplay but didn't take Calvin's career anywhere, and he ended up going back to his mother's home in Rocky Point. This experience was motivation for him to keep honing his craft, and he began to hustle to sing at every sound system event that came to his district. He practiced endlessly to improve his style and eventually began to write his own songs. As time passed, he became a star in Rocky Point and was getting noticed in neighboring towns. After finishing high school, he took up a job as a racehorse jockey, but after a while, he found that it was taking too much of his time and not allowing him work on his music, so he quit and took up the more flexible job of fisherman. He's given credit to those 2 jobs for equipping him with qualities that would prove valuable later in life, as he developed his tenacity and patience. In those days, his strong love for hot chocolate earned him the nickname Cocoa Tea at home. His friends also began to call him by that name, and eventually the name caught on even with his audiences at sound systems all over Clarendon. He had also adopted the Rastafarian faith and began to grow his dreadlocks. Exactly 10 years since recording Searching in the Hills, a sound system called Volcano High Power came to play in his area. This sound system was owned by the now legendary dancehall producer Henry John Joe Laws and had a famous selector in a popular DJ called Burro Banton. Cocoa Tea stepped up to show his skills on the microphone, but Burro Banton was reluctant to give it to him, according to Cocoa Tea himself, because he was dressed in rags, while all the other aspiring singers were well dressed. Banton eventually allowed him to get on the microphone, and once he got on it, they couldn't get him off the stage, as the audience went crazy at his performance, and the show was a big hit that night. Burro Banton was so impressed that he took him back to Kingston to meet with John Joe. Now in Kingston, Cocoa Tea got his first taste of the star power he would be mingling with when Banton took him to hang out on a street called Myrie Lane. He was starstruck to find that also chilling on the street corner with their spliffs were big artists like Yellowman, Billy Boyo, and Josie Wales. Eager to impress, he sang one of his songs for them and made a huge impression as an artist to look out for in the future. Josie Wales in particular was blown away and famously said, "Little youths, sing no more, cause any man that can make me dance without a rhythm must get big in the world." It proved to be a big sign of what was to come. And in 1984, he recorded his first song for John Joe Laws titled Rockin' Dolly. It immediately became a hit and was followed by a string of other hit songs like I Lost My Sonia, Informer, and Can't Stop Cocoa Tea. He released his debut album, Mr. Cocoa Tea, in 1985 and made a big splash in the market. However, it would mark the end of his partnership with John Joe Laws, as the producer soon after moved his operation to New York. Cocoa Tea then moved over to legendary producer Prince Jammy. This move to Prince Jammy coincided with his shift towards heavier Rastafarian and socially conscious lyrical themes in his music. He enjoyed a prolific spell at Jammy's studio and churned out a sizable amount of his best-known material, including albums like The Marshall in 1986 and Come Again in 1987. The title track on the album Come Again is among the most popular Cocoa Tea songs and a huge fan favorite. His success and high rate of productivity was as a result of the great rapport and friendship that he built over the years with Bobby Digital, the chief sound engineer at Jammy's studio. Both men maintained their relationship until Digital passed away in 2020. In 1990, he released his smash album Rikers Island. The album's title track, Rikers Island, was also a roaring success as a single and is his most popular song till date. Cocoa Tea said in an interview that he's performed the song at every concert and show since its release. The track is one of those songs that combines being really enjoyable and catchy while at the same time packing a heavy message. It was an instructive tune advising Jamaican youth who come to New York to stay on the straight and narrow path and avoid being sent to the infamous Rikers Island prison. Incidentally, Henry John Joe Laws was at that time serving time at Rikers Island for narcotics charges. His next major hit album was Good Life, produced by legendary reggae producer Philip Fatis Burrell, who was arguably the greatest producer of the digital age of reggae music. He maintained his great level of success and popularity, with Burrell producing hit albums like 1996's Israel's King, 1997's Holy Mount Zion, and 1998's One Way, all released under Fatis Burrell's Exterminator Records. Cocoa Tea kept making great music and drawing out huge crowds that came to watch him throw down at major concerts and reggae festivals around the world, where he put in spectacular shows over the years. And he also applied himself to supporting the rise of new artists. He famously introduced teenage dancehall sensation and eventual Grammy winner Coffee at Rebel Salute in 2018. He was always bubbly and energetic in his live shows, and despite his age, was known to be very fit and had a habit of jogging several kilometers every day. However, in late 2023, the news emerged that he had been hospitalized for an unknown ailment that many speculated was cancer, with rumors even suggesting that he was dead. But they were all quickly dispelled by his family, who said he was ill but recuperating at a hospital in Florida, and asked everyone to pray for him. And pray we all did, and all hoped that he would pull through and get back to winning ways to do what he did best. That's why it was extremely heartbreaking when news filtered out on the morning of Tuesday the 11th of March 2025 that the great Cocoa Tea was no more and had gone home to meet Jah on Holy Mount Zion at the age of 65. A really sad and terrible loss of one of the greatest and most versatile reggae artists that we will ever see. It's a very dark period for the global reggae fraternity, but our thoughts and prayers go out strongly to his family at this very difficult time, and may the soul of sweet Cocoa Tea rest in perfect peace in the bosom of Jah, and Jah bless you all.